Hello, everyone. Wow, there go that time again. 12:22. Wow. Every time I see that, I think about Exodus chapter 12, verse 22. And now that old messages keep on coming back to me about Exodus, and other things that got to do with that and the plays. Just every time I see that and just looking up there and getting on here doing that, and it's at that time just started to speak to me just that quick. Anyway, I ain't gonna be nothing but a minute. Just want to talk for a minute and talk about what I just wrote. I was just praying early, and I was asking the Lord about certain things, and one of the things I was asking him about was why did Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery uh, title her gathering yesterday here in Detroit, where she did, the Great Deception. And I asked him that because back in 2023 or 2024, he was revealing to me then, it was coming to me then about, deception. I think it might have even been that same word. I don't want to be trying to say the same thing that she's saying, but I know there's some similar like that come to me, and I know that he's speaking and working through her. And that just began to bother me because I wonder why did she title it that? And as I was wondering why did she title it that, I was thinking about this with Charlie Kirk, Mother Moore, and Pastor Voody, and they pastors and how that had been speaking to me. So as I was asking the Lord that, and I was thinking about yesterday about me running into some brothers and sisters that I used to be in church with, and it was truly a pleasure to see them. But I know I'm messed up. I'm gonna just be straight up honest about it. I know I'm messed up. And I just wish that I could have spent a little more time to talk with them and doing that. I was with my mother, who was going to see my niece play basketball. But anyway, I was glad to see them. I was just thinking about this, just thinking about how everything is going, and thinking about that with Prophet Tiffany, and then thinking about that with Candace on, and that with Charlie Kirk, and all the stuff that's been coming to me. And I was just sitting here, and I began to write, and that's what I wrote right here. Note, 10/31/2025. Was Charlie Kirk truly killed? I need y'all to hear this. Was Charlie Kirk truly killed? If so, is Father Yahweh talking to us through his passing? Mother Moore passing. Voody, I can't pronounce his last name, Bachum, I believe it is, passing. I got a question mark each time, Was Charlie Kirk truly killed? Question. If so, is Father Yahweh talking to us through his passing, Mother Moore passing, Voody Baldwin passing? Question. Can death or passing away speak of resurrection? Question. Or better put, what is Father Yahweh trying to resurrect in us? Question. Why does John chapter 1 verse 4 say this? Question. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. We have life in we know that light is not darkness. Okay, let me back up. Go all the way back to John. Why does John chapter 1 verse 4 say this? My eyes messing with me right now. Gotta go put the eye drops in. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. We know that life is not darkness. We know that life is not darkness. We know that darkness reflects death. For John speaks of and say, in verse 5, and the light shineth in darkness, and darkness comprehended not. But we know that Father Elohim, Yahweh, Elohim creator, Yahweh, Father, he's our Father, brought forth life and the light to shine in darkness. For he said in Genesis chapter 3, verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Verse 4, God saw the light that it was good, and divided the light from darkness. Verse 5, and God called the day, and God called the light day. Then I break day down, deliverance, Adam, Yahweh. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this, and I go to writing this right here. And I hope I just spoke on it clearly where y'all can hear it. I'm going to read the whole thing without stopping again. Okay, note. Was Charlie Kirk truly killed? If so, is Father Yahweh talking to us through his passing, Mother Moore passing, Voodoo Bartram passing? Question. Can death or passing away speak of resurrection? Question. Or better put, what is Father Yahweh trying to resurrect in us? Question. Why does John chapter 1 verse 4 says, in him was life, and the life was the light of men? We know that life is not darkness. We know darkness reflects death. For John speaks of and says in verse 5, and the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. But we know that Father Elohim, Yahweh, brought forth life and light to shine in darkness. For he said in Genesis chapter 3, verse 3, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. Verse 4, and God saw the light that it was good, and divided the light from darkness. Verse 5, and God called the light day. D, deliverance. The A, Adam. The Y, Yahweh. So I was sitting up there, and I was just writing that and thinking about, how there's so much deception going on right now too, and how he had spoke to me about that, and how she titled that, and it just had me all like, okay, because I ain't been feeling right about certain things about this with Charlie Kirk. And the other day, when she shit up there and she said that Charlie Kirk had sent her a text, and the text that he sent to her, this was back in 2018. Now, the text that he sent her in 2018, the date that it had on it, it links up to everything that I've been doing. It links up to all the videos that I've been doing, because the date that she took and texted him, that goes back to the main verse. And y'all can watch the videos, and I've been talking about this before she revealed this text. I've been right there in Genesis chapter 4, reading from verse 6 on down to verse 8. I did 3 or 4 videos on this. Now, the date that she gives, that he said that he had kept on having a dream, and he took a text about that, was 4/6/18, 2018. This is the date, and you can actually find that date in there. I done showed y'all in there where in this it reveals the date that he was going to be killed. I can show the day that he was born in there and all that. And, for him to text her on that day, 4/6/2018, And for me to take, and see, this is the thing we need to get about all this, and this is why I'm asking the question, you know what I mean? In the beginning of this, when I write, was Charlie Kirk truly killed? Because doubt is, I'm like, is this some type of conspiracy going on, some type of thing that real, all kinds of stuff going through my mind, and then I go to asking this question. If so, is Father Yahweh talking through his passing? Okay? Because for him to take and say that and to take and send that text to her on that date, and that day to go to the very thing that I've been working on, and then I end up working on that because I end up making a mistake because I wasn't seeing right with the numbers, and it led me back to chapter 4. Okay, and I'm using the word mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. I'm realizing now that I was being guided back there anyway, because at this particular time I was lusting. And what I was lusting after, I wanted to hit that Powerball, that Mega Million, whatever that was, just like everybody else. And when I end up being blinded, and this, I'm going to show this too, how this relates to lust and Genesis chapter 19, which brings us right back to this. Because I heard her say that she think that 6 people is involved in that. See, people might be involved in it, but I can tell you for sure that it's 2 that was behind it. Everything pointing to this. If that text that he sent to her, if that text is on that day, and I don't feel she got no reason to lie, but they got where they make people look like it's the people when they can take and post videos and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's somebody playing like they heard one of them AI things and taking and saying that. So if somebody that might, know the truth and know that's her really posting that, then it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Because in 2018, that same year, I was in that same chapter. That's the same year that the 444 really started to speak to me and really first got revealed to me. And then in that particular time, when it got revealed to me, God was talking to me about Nancy Pelosi and Truck Schumer. I posted other videos about that. Well, I wouldn't take and speak on it because I thought somebody was just trying to get me to be caught up in that political thing, and I didn't want to be caught up in it or make me just think bad of it. And now it's speaking again because the 444 shows over Charlie Kirk. And then it's taking us right back to that verse where you find the first mention of a brother and a sister. So you find in the mention in there of 2, a man and a woman. And the 2 repeats itself 3 times in this scenario. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to show all that I'm trying to put everything together in the right way and to take and do this in the right way. But y'all really need to stop and think about this, because the year and the years that we getting ready to come into, and I'm telling you, when I say I'm struggling in battle, I'm struggling, I'm battling. I'm dealing with some witches and warlocks who've been doing stuff to me for a long time, and I'm just really coming to the realization of it, of how deep this is. And how when they talk about generational curses and stuff being in the bloodline and all that, I've been up on some of this stuff for over a decade, but coming to really understand how deep rooted it can be. Like, I heard Tiffany Montgomery and somebody else take and do something on a tree. And I've got the name of the tree, but anyway, this tree roots grow so deep down in the ground. And it's one of those type of situations. And then I'm dealing with a bunch of people around me that's just like crabs. And a crab scenario is where if you put crabs in a bucket, what they do, they'll see one getting out, trying to get out, and they'll go to pulling on that one instead of letting that one get in, hoping that the other one might reach back down and help pull them up. It's one of them scenarios that I'm dealing with too. But if that date is true, and God took and ministered to him to take and do that night with her, and then took and ended up guiding me back to that chapter, a chapter that I was in that same year. Y'all, ain't none of this no coincidence. And he's speaking real loudly because y'all think about verse 8. I just want to read verse 8 to y'all, and then I'm going to go on and get off here because I didn't want to be on here this long. I wanted to just read that and really get off. But let's go to chapter 4 and read verse 8. Now watch this. Chapter 4, verse 8, let's read it. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field. They was in the field. That scenario where Charlie Kirk was shot in, that's a field scenario. Just think about it. He was out in the open on a campus like a field. There's no coincidence about all of this. Now, everybody else ended up going to Stephen and the martyr thing. And I'm not saying that he wasn't a martyr because it's in that realm of being a martyr. But I never got guided to that. I was already being guided to chapter 4 even before he got killed. I believe that video on 9-2 that I did even before I found out Mother Mover, I believe I spoke about Genesis chapter 4 in that, and I believe there's a couple of videos that I was even speaking about it in August, the month before. And there's videos that I know if Trump wanted to take and holler at his man Mark Zuckerberg, he can pull up from 2018 and stuff, showing that I was talking about, I was in that same chapter. Years ago. Matter of fact, it's a video that I'm recalling right now that I took and did on Genesis chapter 12 with a 444 showing that. And then I get to talking about where I first found it at was in Genesis chapter 4, verse 22. And how I was in that. So the same year, 2018. Ain't none of this no coincidence, y'all. None of it. None of it. And we need to really see how this is speaking and how it's tying into all these chapters where God is talking or calling out to us. This take us to Genesis 3 and 9. I showed y'all in the videos before. This take us to Ezekiel chapter 8. Verse 1 and the whole chapter. I showed y'all that. I made a mistake. With the 65 one time, I could still show y'all that 3 times. I got carried away with trying to do it off the top of my head. I won't make that mistake again. But just pay attention to what this is saying in the field. All the numbers link up to that. I showed y'all in the video how verse 8 take and talk with the numbers and look at what it's saying in the field. I can't do that. That date that was given to her, the date is there. 4/6/2018. You can find that in the 6th verse. What does the 6th verse say? Oh, Lord, I want to. I'm going to read the 6th verse and I'm going to get on off here. Look what the 6th verse say. And the Lord said unto Cain, Lord was speaking. Who is God speaking to? We get to 22 there. I'm like them. I don't believe that he was by himself. I believe that there was at least 2 people. Now, to show this 2, what this 2 is hollering. Now, these 2 people might have had other people involved. But without any doubt, there's 2. This is speaking real loud. And God said unto Cain, okay? Now, we go on and we finna read. Why art thou wroth? So if we pay attention now, we pay attention to how God got me reading Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1 to 3, and you get to verse 3, and you talk about jealousy. Was Cain jealous of his brother? I'm seeing how all of them, I know I'm getting there. Let me get on off here, but that date, 4/6/2018, is right here in this verse. The day he was born is in here. The day he died is in here. No coincidence about none of that. And then I'm finding this in there with Voodoo Blossom too, that's connected. Come on, y'all. Then this mother mouth, come on. I don't know what he getting ready to do, but he getting ready to shine the light on a bunch of stuff. Because when everybody else was hearing that about exposure, I was hearing the same thing, but I didn't say nothing about it. And y'all that had discernment, no, I just ain't getting on here because I know probably every time she say something, God spoke to me about deception. Okay, about a year and a half ago. He was saying the same thing to me. And sometimes he'll repeat things to other people that might understand it back. See, she probably didn't, before she even spoke about it, she probably been in prayer with God several months, asked him saying, what you mean by this? Like I used to do. You know, she's there right now in that type of process that I used to be in. She already getting set up for a 3-day fast. You know, I wish I could participate in stuff like that, but right now I can't. I have to take and do what I could do on my own little bit and work towards getting back to where I was. But she's doing the things I was doing, so I know she probably hearing from me like crazy. But there's no coincidence. And that bothered me all last night, all today. You know, I'm going to watch the video again to see what I might have missed or what I'm not hearing. But there's no coincidence, y'all, in none of this. You know, so I'm asking that y'all just listen to what I took and wrote this morning. Go and watch some of them videos and start putting it. And don't let that one mistake that I made in the second video, you know, not have y'all taking a look at all this, because it'll be a grave mistake. I made a mistake trying to do it off my head, okay? But all of it connects just like I'm trying to show y'all. And it's pointing towards what God is trying to reveal to us. Jealousy, envy, and lust. I posted something yesterday about is gates of the church like Sodom. I'm getting ready to show y'all what I mean in that too. And I know people say you talking about what you getting ready to do before you do it, and you making the war for a little greater. I'm going to trust him on this. I'm going to trust that he's going to give me the strength and the focus to take and do this if it's him. And if I can't get back on here and give it to y'all, if I can't, then it's not him that want me to do it. He'll give you the grace. I'm really starting to understand that. He'll give you the grace if you're sincere. It's always a hard thing with God. Always. He deal with the heart. Psalm that I love and I stand on to the day I die. Psalm 51, verse 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken and contrite heart. A broken and contrite heart God will not despise. I can testify to that. That day in the shower, my heart was broken. He heard me. It's a hard thing with God. Y'all think about this. Y'all think about this. Y'all think about all this. This was Charlie Kirk, mother-in-law, Voodoo watching, the 444 showing. You know, he texting Candace, giving her this text on 4/6/2018, and then it's right here, and this is what I was doing before that. Devil don't want y'all to get no warning about God warning us about jealousy and lust. God telling us that the sacrifices that we giving him ain't right. He don't want you to be warned about that. He don't want you to know that God want to take him and heal it. Today, Jeremiah, it threw me all the way off. I was thrown all the way off. Today, Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 10 come to me. I'm like, Lord, this ain't lining up with the other stuff that you saying. And here you talking about healing and renewing. Then I understood that if you read, like I was told to read, Jeremiah 33, verse 1 to 10, it's a two-part hookup. The first part of it is telling you that he was angry and he had to end up doing. So the judgment is still coming, but he's letting them know after judgment come, those that stay in his presence and those that ain't did the other thing with it, he gonna bring healing and all the rest of that to them. But if you go to verse 3 is specific. I'm in with verse 3. I am going in with verse 3. Verse 3 in Jeremiah 33. Okay, I was told to read 1 to 10, but we're just going to read verse 3. Look what verse 3 says. Yeah, I'm going to go to verse 3 and I'm going to read something else too. I'm going to end with this Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3, and we're going to go to, come on, Lord. Your lie, Satan, rebuke it. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3, and Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 18. That's how we're going to end with that. 23, Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 18 is where we're going to end. And we're going to do this in Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3. Now watch what Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3 says. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and shew thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Okay, again, Jeremiah 33 and 3, and that's the 333. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. That's the second time I read. I'm going to read it 3 times because we get to 333 in. And it's the third verse. Jeremiah 33 and 3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Now we're going to go to Jeremiah 23, verse 18. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord, and has perceived and heard his word? Who has marked his word and heard it? Again, second time. Jeremiah 23 and 18. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord and has perceived and heard his word? Who has marked his word and heard it? A second time. For the third time. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord and has perceived and heard his word? Who has marked his word and heard it? So God is letting you know in 33, call on me and I answer thee. And then in 23 and 18, he's saying, who has did this? He letting you know in here, and him having me constantly read this, he letting them know that is a hard thing with him. And those that seeking him, especially with me, because I know I ain't been doing it like it's supposed. I ain't finna get on here fake. You know? Sometime I might get that 3 times out of the day of praying to him, but most of the time it's just 1.5. Where I get on my knees in the morning, rest of the day I walk around sometime and talk to him. You know, I try to always keep my heart open to him, but, you know, the singing and all that I used to do is dim. You know, my light is real dim. I mean, dim to the point where, you know, it's even affecting my natural eyes. And I'm really struggling in that area. You know. But anyway, I said I was going to end with that. I am. Man, when I heard that date, if I had wings like an eagle, I'd have flew. I probably wouldn't even be here no more. I hope that y'all hear this. He sent out a text on 4/6/2018. On the next video, I'm going to show y'all that whole date in this. And y'all know that I was in this chapter before he passed. No coincidence, y'all. And no coincidence that I was in it in 2018. None. None. Well, y'all have a blessed day.